On Sky Sports Radio, time to review the weekend's racing with our stable of experts.
He's pretty exciting, this guy, streeting his rivals.
Who impressed?
Who didn't?
Horses to follow.
And have a look at the time.
And your calls.
Welcome to Punters Post-Mortem.
Really starting to go through his gears, just continues to raise the bar.
Yeah, good morning and welcome to Punters Post-Mortem on this Monday, the 21st of November. Whatever you are up to this morning, hopefully you've enjoyed the Big Sports Breakfast and their coverage, and you're going to stick around on Sky Sports Radio. We've got a massive morning coming up. We're going to be previewing New South Wales racing later at Wagga Wagga. We've got Punters Post-Mortem not too far away. Ron Doversey, Glenn Munsey and Dean Lester looking at that big gong meeting. Great to see a big crowd down there at Kembla Grange at Wollongong. And from all reports, it was a big night as well. So good stuff. Taree Cup yesterday. Great to see so many people up there in the mid-north coast area enjoying themselves. Some good country racing. And what about this weather? It's been outstanding. And we're not too far away from Christmas. I'll tell you what, it's the 21st of November. So we're going to try and get some horses to follow from the boys today, because you'll be booking the Christmas photos. You'll be getting the hampers ready. Tanya Thomas has got the scratchings today. Tanya, have you booked in the Christmas photos? Do you get that sort of stuff sorted now?
No, I'll be running around on Christmas Eve still trying to get a few things organised.
Trying to get the presents sorted?
Every year I say I'm going to go early this year. I'm going to get it done, but it never happens. Why is that? Just don't know.
We'll discuss after the program.
Set a plan.
We'll set a plan out for you. What do you want Santa to bring this year? You got any ideas?
Oh, gee.
Ray might be listening.
Is he? Jewellery would be nice, wouldn't it?
There you go, Raymond.
There we go. Yeah.
Jewellery. Any particular
sparkly.
type? Something sparkly.
Something sparkly, yeah.
Okay.
Silver, perhaps. Aquamarine.
Sounds like we do need these horses to follow. Then, what's happening with the scratchings at Wagga today?
Okie dokie. Well, the weather there is fine. The track is a soft 6. The rail is true, and there are 21 scratchings. The first race is at 1:15. Out of race 1, take number 1 Golden Gorge and 4 Southern Appeal 1 and 4. Race 2, number 1 Sparring and 5 Memorialise 1 and 5. From race 3, number 1 D Colette and 4 Preeminent 1 and 4. Race 4, take out 4 Surprise Factor and 6 Samindi 4 and 6. Race 5, number 1 Casino Time 9 Cracking Dawn 1 and 9. Race 6, number 11 1 Dash and the emergencies 14 through to 16. 11, 14, 15 and 16. From race 7, number 3 The Prodigal Son and 7 Sherman 3 and 7. And race 8, take out 5 Over the World, 7 Maresmo, 9 Clever Choice, 12 On the Bell, and the emergency 14. 5, 7, 9, 12 and 14, Dave, from race 8 at Wagga.
Yep, so we'll have a look at Wagga racing a little bit later on, and we will discuss everything in relation to that meeting. That first at Wagga today, in case you're having a bet, is at 1:15. 1:15 at Wagga. And 5:30 the last there. So 8 races on the card. I think we've got Graham White joining us a little bit later on. Yeah, it's going to be a busy time, the old Christmas, getting yourself sorted. So hopefully we can try and find you some winners today with the horses to follow, and a little bit later at Wagga, and you can prepare yourself. And if you get left out of the old photos, well, you can book somewhere else. Ron Doversey is online. G'day, Duff. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, Dave.
How was the gong, mate? We finally got the race run and won. It was a bit funny there. I was watching on the Sky Thoroughbred Central. We had Run to Paradise and all sorts of things happening. But, gee, it was good to see a big crowd there on Saturday.
Yeah, it was always good to get away for these Newcastle and Kembla Grange races, and it was a good day's racing. A few execution problems, as you said, a little bit of communication problems more than anything, that things weren't timed right, but it would have turned out beautiful other than that. And we had horses going in the barrier, out the barrier, but the song went for 8 minutes or something. We had the long version, and it turned out well. It was a good meeting.
It certainly was. We've got Dean Lester online as well today from Melbourne. Dino, great to see a good crowd there at Ballarat Cup enjoying themselves, mate.
Yeah, certainly were, Dave. They didn't worry about the weather. It rained on and off through the afternoon, as Ballarat can do. But it was good. It was a good meeting, and a very deserving cup winner in Banker's Choice, who had raced through the spring in the Group 1 without much luck.
And Glenn Munsey. Glenn, over to you, mate. It was noisy. It was packed down there at Kembla, mate, and good to see so many people out enjoying themselves, like I said to Duff. Hello to you, mate.
Yeah, good morning to Dave. Good morning to Ron Dean and all the listeners. Yeah, Rob De Costello would have got to Paradise quicker than what they did on Saturday with that song. But it's always great to get to the races, Dave. But not that we see much of the crowd where we are, sort of hidden in the corner there. I must congratulate the Illawarra Turf Club committee and everything. The standard of food at the races, which is very, very important to get yourself through a very, very long day there. It was probably akin to a grazing day. There was breakfast, there was a mid-morning snack, there was lunch, and then there was the afternoon obligatory pies and sausage rolls. And I was quite disappointed there was no cakes just before the last. But they very, very set a standard there on Saturday, the Illawarra Turf Club, and I'm sure Ron would back me up, as everyone from the Sky Thoroughbred Central team. They were very appreciative of the way we were looked after on Saturday.
Do we know how many they got there, guys? I know that with Newcastle, we had just a really, really, I think it was 4,992 or something like that. It was just a tick under 5,000. How many, do we know anything about the crowd there on Saturday, or is that yet to come through, that info?
There's nothing official that's
nothing
come
official.
out. I'd say to be just be under that. Under that, yeah.
Perfect. Well, and that's good, because you know what? That's a comfortable amount to it, Kimberley. You start getting more and more, and it becomes a little bit more uncomfortable for the punters. So I think it's a great size, and you saw them lining up beforehand. What's happening, Muns? You all right? Everything's sorted. We'll go straight to the gong. Let's get into it, Duff, while Muns has got that killer dog at his joint. Rio Dini was your 650 SP favourite. What about the run in Hope in Your Heart for the locals? She just runs an honest race all the time, and I thought Old Flame was pretty good from the gate. There's some really good rides in this race, wasn't there, Duff?
Yeah, there was, and all those favourites ran really well. There's no doubt about it, but Rio Dini just got the right run at the right time. He'd been set for this race ever since he come back into work. He found his dry track, he found the right weight, he found the mile, and although he hadn't won in pushing 3 years, he just run in the right races leading in. He ran those two big sprints with the weight, and they were both, well, I won't say hidden runs. I think most people picked them up to be straight into the $12 into $6.50 and by race preview time, and he ran accordingly. He ran right up to his setup, really. She is as brave as they come. I love her. Hope in Your Heart. Old Flame was good. Brutality had a lot to do, and I thought, considering it was hard for leaders with the wind, Wild Planet was outstanding. He set up that course record time, and he stuck on quite well for fourth there. He
certainly did. Dean, what did you make of the gong up in at Kembla, mate?
Yeah, I thought, just Duff said, Riadini just finding the absolute right day and a good check to do it and win. I just thought those two, Hope in Your Heart and Brutality, on the turn, and Tash took them off that line a little bit. They didn't just rip off the bend really sharp, and it cost them, whether it cost them winning, I'm not sure, but certainly getting in, a lot closer, and Hope in Your Heart was terrific. But, it was a good race, fast race, and, Wild Planet was the surprise leader up, but, as you said, he was still there at the end.
For sure.
Muns, not sure if are you there, Muns? You are?
Yes, mate. Yeah, we just had the obligatory bloke delivering something here.
That's all right.
I think they purposely wait round the corner till about 9:10 of a Monday morning.
They're big listeners. This was a huge, obviously, win by Rio Dini, as Duff said, alluded to, and in terms of the run was, 3 deep, and they wanted to back this. I noticed, because we did the Calcutta on Friday, and we had down on our Calcutta forms as your favourite being Old Flame. And then there was it was Old Flame, and then Rio Dini had firmed right up, hadn't it?
Yes, well, I did a spot, Dave, on another radio station at about 5 to 6 on Friday night, and Rio Dini was favourite at that stage. Here's a perfect case for futures punters and early shoppers and the like. $51 in the pre-noms market, $26 in the all-in market, $12 in the final field market on Wednesday, and then every day, $9.50, $8.50, $6.50, $5.50. Got back out to $7.50 on Saturday and firmed at the death there, and I think it actually SP'd the favourite as a $6.50 chance. So he's a much maligned horse, Reardine. He's been one of my favourites for quite a few years, actually, Dave. But you go back through his record, he's now been placed in an Epsom, placed in a Shannon, placed in a Chelmsford, placed in a George Main, and he wins the Gong. But I'll never, ever get over the day he was placed in the Chelmsford Stakes to think it over, where he was coming off running last. Well, he'd run 8th, then he'd run last, then he'd run 5th, and we tipped him on the punters panel at $151, and a horse called Think It Over beat him a wart.
Now it's 9:13. We're going to open up the phone lines right now. So 1350 353 is that number. Give us a call. Get in contact with the team if you've got some questions about the weekend. Let's go down to Ballarat, because it was the Ballarat Cup. And that man, Johnny Allen, gets the jobs done on Banker's Choice. And what was happening with the track here, Dino? Because they obviously wanted to get out wide late, and it was a heavy 8, and Bankers just seemed to love it.
Yeah, he got out really wide. The race before the cup, they were nearly on the outside fence. Brontari nearly checked off the outside fence. But Banker's Choice just at about the 600, there was a moment there, he looked like he wasn't going to handle the ground. But then Johnny Allen sort of got him going and got him into stride, and he won well. Cost Johnny $5,000 to get him motivated and win the race, but going over the whip rules. But he was too good.
With Johnny Allen, mate, I mean, we know obviously what he's achieved and what he can do, but he just seems to, in these staying races, he's got a plan. He's quite patient, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He comes off the bit as late as he can, but that's dangerous. But he was certainly got that horse going. When there was a stage there, it didn't look like he was going to, but he was the strongest late. He come off the genuine Group 1 form. So.
And what about a Tissue, who's run second?
Tissue ran well. She's had a good prep down here, and the 2 runs at 2,000 metres have been outstanding. So she's only had the 3 goes at 2,000 for 2 wins and the second on Saturday. So she's racing really well.
Fantastic. That's the Ballarat Cup with Dean Lester. Now, Nugget's on the line, and he wants to... not Nugget's on the line. Balmain Max is on the line. He wants to talk about Nugget. What I will ask Munns about here is all carnival we've had significant betting moves on various races, but for some, correct me if I'm wrong here, Munns, and I'm sure it wasn't as big a hold as we've had in some of our other races, but this seemed like one of the best betting moves we've had all carnival, pretty much.
Pretty much so, Dave. We said all the way through from Thursday he was the best supported runner, and even leading up to the race, the best go all day. Nugget there, 440 on the Wednesday, 340 on the Thursday, 280 on the Friday, 260 Saturday morning, and then 250, 240, 230, 220, 215, 210, and back to 215. And it was very, very impressive. That's actually a gentleman in the ownership, and his name in the ownership is A. Nugget. So I don't know whether that is a pseudonym or that is the actual gentleman's name, but he's in the ownership. And after Balmain Max tells us about it, I want to defer to Dean and work out how good a form race the Nugget, Detonator, Jack, Green, Fly, Munhamek race has been out of Melbourne.
Well, further down the track, Mums that have run well as well. I'm going to look with me that it's been an unbelievable race. The Nugget had been trialling well, and pretty appropriate now that Nugget's favourite for the renamed Billy is now the Ingham.
That's right, he is. Let's get to Balmain Max. Good morning, Balmain.
Good morning, Davo. Mate, I've got... I want to talk about Nugget, but before I talk about that, I've got one for Munsey, mate, and I've got one for you to finish with.
Okay, go to Munns first.
Yeah, Munns. When the nominations coming up for the Sydney Cup, mate?
Sydney Cup,
you should know that,
which is the championships next year.
Come on, Munns, you should know that off the top of your head, mate.
Yeah.
Mate, you got them up at Caulfield, Melbourne, you got them up at the Cox Plate.
They'd be pre-noms, though.
They're pre-noms markets.
That's what I'm talking about, mate, yeah.
Yeah, well, the major concern about doing the Sydney Cup in a pre-noms market is what's left standing And mate, the interest in, if you put a Sydney Cup market up now, you could be the only person that is interested in any horse that would be set for the Sydney Cup, which is run in April.
In one. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Well, mate, self-interest is the only way to be.
Yeah.
What do you like, Balmain? You can't tell us.
I'm not saying nothing until I get
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I got 51 gold trip for both cups, last year.
Okay.
Well, you're not going to believe it. Some of the people that own Gold Trip are in the ownership of Nuggets.
Down a couple of them.
Okay.
But this Nugget, mate, would he be a gold Nugget? Would he? He's going to go further, isn't he? And he's going to go out in distance, isn't he?
Well, I might bring Duff in here. Duff, I mean, he was a stylish win. They backed him like they had the form guide the next day. It was like Back to the Future stuff. And you said that pre-race, you said, look, you just have to respect the money here for what's happening with Nugget.
Yep, you did, and you knew the writing was on the wall, and the obvious move now that he'll get into the Ingham worth $2 million in a few weeks' time, and then if he wins that, he's got the golden ticket into the Doncaster Mile. So I don't know if they think he's going to be a horse that's going to get over much ground. He's got that good mile form, and I think why not do that? Train him to what his strengths have been so far, and I think if he goes to the Ingham, we'll find out how good he is, because it's going to be a solid race. And look, he was,
because if he goes to the Villiers up and he wins that, that's a straight into the Doncaster, isn't it?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
And the market, if you want to reprice that race, he's an odds-on chance because he always had that race by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, well, he's now the $5 favourite for the Ingham after he went up $11 after the race on Saturday.
Do we know any of the data? Do we know any of the data that came out of the race? Just playing devil's advocate here, boys. He's beaten two horses: Steely, that hasn't won for 12 months, and War Eternal, which hasn't also won since February earlier this year. I'd love to have Steely myself. I'd love to have War Eternal. So I'm not potting them as horses. I'm more just saying he's obviously won. He was very well backed. That was his race. Do we just dive in now at $5 in the Ingham after he opened 6, or do we let some water roll under the bridge, Duff?
Oh no, you don't take the $5 now. The worst thing you can possibly do is back a horse, 2 days after it's had an impressive win in an all-in market, because there's other things that'll fly, go under the bridge. So looking at, he's run just under the time of the gong, so that's a tick off, and he's slipped home faster the last 600 than the gong. So I would say, without ripping it right apart, it'd be quite comparable to those good horses out of the gong.
Okay, perfect. Balmain, did you have any more questions?
Dave?
Yes, mate.
Yeah, what I've got, I'll take any offer, but I've got a parachute for sale, used once, never opened. Bye, mate.
Thanks, Balmain.
Yeah, try the Veal. Oh, here all night.
Lucas is now joining us on the line. G'day, Lucas.
Hello, panel.
What's your question, or have you got a joke for us?
No jokes. Just one for Duff. Duff, I saw a run on Saturday. Just want to get your opinion in the gong Skylab.
Yep, he backed up from the previous Saturday. He's a tough horse to follow, Skylab. I've been there and done with him a few times as a 3 and early 4-year-old. Look, if you want to judge him on his 2 runs back, he's usually better first up than second up, but he did a really good job there on Saturday. He was tight between runners there, and he was only a couple of lengths away at the finish there, so I thought it was a good run.
He'll go to the Ingham?
I'd say so, and you'll get good odds.
$15.
Yeah, you'll get more of that, better than that in the day. You're not going to get a definite no from me as far as that concerns. Just whether he's better early in his prep than later in his prep.
But I just thought he's probably on the wrong part of the track the other day.
Yes, I think that's important if you want to sort of find some good runs along the rail, but it can be distorting. Make sure you look at that steward's vision and see how by that stage of the day you think, he won't get along the inside. Then you look at the head on and they're in the right part of the track because they're all overdoing it by this stage. A lot of winners come down right down just outside that second strip. And that was evident, and I think we had that wind at Kembla can come up, and it can be messy, and a little bit scary for the jockeys down there. So that come into play there on Saturday as well.
Thanks for your call, Lucas. Let's get to our next caller and give us a call if you're listening and you want to get involved with the conversation. It's 13 53 53. Steve's on the line. G'day, Steve. What's your question, mate?
Okay, quick tempo on the weekend with a good result.
Well, why shouldn't it be? Yeah.
You there?
Yes, mate. Go for it.
Hello.
Yeah, Steve, we've got you, mate. We do have you. You mentioned quick tempo. Duff, I'll get a comment on quick tempo, mate.
Yeah, look, he was terrific. We all saw what happened to him his previous start, so he was all dressed up and had nowhere to go, and he had room to move there on Saturday, and he was absolutely brilliant the way he rattled off that very fast time, faster than the Warra. So whether he's at his best when he's fresh, I'm not sure. But nothing was going to beat him on the day there. He was brilliant. 55. He broke 56 for the 1,000 metres, and now Thelrick run 56.32. So considering the short course, the time he's run, is he better at 1,000? Maybe.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks for your call there, Steve. We'll jump back to Melbourne here, Dino, because there's a couple of texts here about Sun Source. Of course, we had that Magic Millions Ballarat 2-year-old classic over 1,000, and he was quite impressive, this horse. Another one where Aussie Keir and John O'Neill, these colours, they can find a horse, and he's off to the Magic Millions now. He was very impressive off the speed, wasn't he?
He was. He got knocked over at the start, basically, and settled last, and Daniel Moore just sort of kept picking it past through them, and he was the strongest late. I didn't see anything going into it that I thought would be outstanding with, I thought the Magic Millions, and coming out of it, it was usually a good win, but I just would think that around the Gold Coast, a horse like him, and we say it most years out of this Ballarat race, I just think they get a bit lost. So they're getting him up there nice and early. I think he's going to run in the McLaughlin at least, and maybe a couple of runs. So that might help. But I need to see him again.
Okay, so you have to see him again. And what about out of the race as well? Is there anything in behind him that you think we can forgive?
Not really. You sort of know, you've seen Get Along through the Golden Gift, and we saw Pure Paradise ran well, and I was pleased that she did run well because she was a long way behind King's Gambit, who I think is the best 2-year-old we've seen this season. So I'm pretty comfortable that that form on Saturday got elevate a bit. And the off-season, they might win a race down here, but I wouldn't have put Magic Millions candidate.
Okay. You're getting plenty of love on the text line here, G. Munsey. Tap and Run was a good result for you in the first.
Well, Dave, we find a winner every now and then. I hope the subscribers, tune in again next week because, the POT on the ROI and the have, gone up.
Well, what do we make of Atmospheric Rock as well, Duff?
Yeah, I think he's a horse to follow at this level because we've learnt to say, well, we start our form with the highways. You start with the highway form and the others have got to prove themselves at that level. So considering that situation and the inexperience of this horse, it was only his fourth start. He went from a maiden to an unlucky in a Gundagai Class 1, mind you, to lift to highway level at 1400, mind you. I thought his run was excellent. So he's a horse to follow. He's obviously talented, and he lifted to a new level there on Saturday, so he's got a future.
I like it. We've got Sam on the line. G'day, Sam.
Yeah, good morning, boys. I've got a couple of questions. One for Duff. Did you happen to see the trophy of the Gong on Saturday?
I missed it, Sam. I missed it.
It was pretty disappointing. It's just a pedestrian racehorse. I think maybe they should have an actual little gong to go with the Gong.
Yeah, why not? What about a bit of cash with it as well? So
yeah.
I didn't see the trophy. Yeah, no, I didn't see the trophy.
Also, on a serious note, what did you think of the run of Key Largo?
Oh, he's flying. He's flying for the right race. He's sort of been in a few. He went up in class there on Saturday, and he was good again along the inside. So yeah, he's Bryce Hayes has got a couple of those horses that are going really well at the moment, and when they find their right races, they'll be winning again.
Yeah, but he's only lowly rated, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
73 rated before Saturday.
Yeah, so
in an open handicap.
He would have been a nice old good thing in his right grade, but he had to have a go at the big money, and he nearly surprised.
Fantastic. Thanks for your call, Sam. All right, we can get the pitch up for the trophy being changed. I'm not sure what is the trophy.
Yeah, it was just like the trophy of a horse, very similar
to the Hunter.
Not as ornate as and large as the one at the Hunter, I wouldn't think. But there are a number of people that trophies are not probably the be all and end all, and probably if it's not an Everest trophy that's valued at about 700,000 or something, isn't it? Yeah, so you what do you come up with? But then again, it would be probably apt if the trophy was a gong.
And a signed copy of Road to Paradise.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. The choir boys are still
belting it out.
Still belting around.
They're still running to Paradise. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's an idea for next year.
Most people just get the plane
next year.
They're running there.
Well, I don't know whether they looked into the lyrics of that song or read about that.
Well,
they certainly didn't read into the timing of what the tune was. They could have had the abridged version. I think they had the dance mix version.
Just on that, was there confusion about the start of that race, because horses had been loaded and then obviously horses were pulled out. I like the idea of geeing the crowd up. They did it obviously at the 100, and they were doing it at the Everest Carnival. So I think it's a good idea. It's good for the on-course patrons, but it just seemed a little. I was only going off what I was watching on Sky Thoroughbred Central, and obviously I liked yourself and Radley and Munns. It was a bit of a chuckle about it, because it seemed like that song was going forever.
Well, it was just a communication problem. They went on the track a little bit late, and then they still went through all their formalities.
Yeah.
And then the song went forever. It just Dino?
We had that in 2007 at the Cox Plate when Darryl nearly unravelled bid for second Cox Plate. They're still belting out horses, and Steve Arlen was trying to get into the barriers.
Yeah, it's a communication problem, and I'm sure it will not happen again.
Yeah, the official music video on YouTube of Choir Boys Run to Paradise runs 4 minutes and 6 seconds.
We saw side B
a very
well.
lengthy tune. They did put up, they were going to have Dire Straits Telegraph Road, and it runs 13 minutes. Well, that would have been good.
Let's get to some callers. We've got Greg on the line. I think he wants to talk about Kembla Race 6. G'day, Greg.
Hey, mate, how are you?
I'm very good. It is Kembla Race 6 you want to have a yarn about?
Yeah, the photo finish there. I just found it on the photo shoot there. You know the photo finish there where the red goes to white, right on the line there at Kembla? If you have a look at it...
What do you mean by the red goes to the
right
white?
On the line, on the finish. If you have a look at the photo itself, you can't see the red there.
I'm not going to argue with photo finish decisions. They it's easy for us to blow up saying the inside one, but I think I'm sure the cameras are aligned for the right photo, at least.
Yeah, but you have a look at it though, right on the post, it goes from red to white, and in the photo finish you can't see any red there. One of the guys on Facebook put it up, and I actually thought, geez, you've got a good point there, mate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would have been picked up if it was any discrepancy in it at all.
Yeah, just a bit unusual. I just thought with today's modern technology like that, I didn't think, like the way, the angle of the camera and everything, you think they'd actually get it sorted out so punters and that can actually get it right, you know what I mean, and see what they're actually seeing.
It's not the only racetrack in Australia where the camera is not right on the finish line.
100%, mate, I totally agree there.
Yeah, it's very distorting for punters watching at home. I know that. Hawkesbury and Kembla, when they're out wide especially.
Well, we had, was it Corindi the other day? Well, you fair dinkum got to be cross-eyed to work a photo out of Corindi.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just mainly because it's on a Saturday too, and you've got millions of people watching.
Exactly.
So, it makes it probably a bit of a difference too, you know what I mean? Like during the week, you probably only get so many, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh, it's always going to be a big meeting like that is always highlighted to a lot more eyes. There are a lot more eyes focused on that meeting today. It's like a lot of people said, geez, the track was on fire on Saturday. Well, each and every year now, we'll have new track records set on Gong Day because you have a better grade of horse racing to run those times. I'm just looking at the replay here and the red. No, the red goes right to the line there.
And then have a look at the photo finish.
And there's no red. There's no red there. I'll go.
Don't you find that very conspiracy?
You're not going to tell me they didn't land on the moon, are you?
That's not to say that.
Oh, hang on, hold all tickets.
Hold all tickets.
Yeah.
The red marking, which indicates the last 100 metres. Once again, it's just a visual aid for those people at home once they're watching, and once you see the running rail turn from white to red, you know there's 100 metres to go.
So right on the line, it's right on the finish line.
Yeah.
And the photo they put up, you can't see any red. And
but then again, that's
he had a point.
You know, the rail could also have a slight bend in it. It could have flexed in the wind. It could have done everything. But that red mark is not the official line. The official line is where the photo finish is set up.
Mm. Yeah, you still can't see any red in there, though. You know, it's just.
And if you look at the photo, the wide shot where you're saying the red line doesn't go, right? The actual finish post where the gentleman is standing in the yellow high-vis jacket with his arm extended to the right, the finish line is above his head and he's wearing a black cap. There is a peg above the gentleman's head. That is the finish line.
Thank you for your call, Greg. I feel like getting the Benny Hill music out in a minute. Now, in all seriousness, though, we're going to go to West, Dino, because there's a couple of texts on the text line here in relation to, firstly, Amelia's Duel. We'll get to that in a moment, but Tricks of the Trade was very good there in the railway, and Troy Turner loved it, and great to see Colin Webster with a big win, wasn't it?
Colin Webster couldn't believe that it was his first Group 1 winner on Saturday at 83 years of age, but he certainly... A great result for that stable. And Tricks of the Trade, Troy Turner, who was apprentice to Colin Webster, and just gave the horse the right ride, just blended into the race beautifully, and it certainly worked out well for them. It was a race we probably weren't that familiar with because the locals dominated. There weren't many eastern staters of any note, and of course Yonkers obviously had a problem, and Ironclad probably didn't back up from last week. So, it was a good result for the locals.
Yeah. Was it his first Group 1 winner or not? Where there's a debate going around, Dino. The Oaks of 1980, I think Miller's Guide, he won the Oaks in Western Australia in 1980. So in the Miller's Guide have it...
Yeah, well, it was a Group 1 back then.
So. So it's his group.
Yeah,
it's second.
No, but he didn't dispute it after the race, but that's... probably the one that all first trainers want to win was the race he won on Saturday.
What about this filly, Amelia's Duel? It was a lovely ride by Patrick Carberry. It could have been a bit nasty on the turn if things didn't open up for him. He was sort of in a little tiny pocket there, wasn't he, Dean? But once she gets sort of out and about in clear air, she really just levels out, doesn't she?
Yeah, and it was a lovely ride. It was a messy race because they went so slowly, and it was a battle of tactics. And I thought what Paddy did right was got on the back of the main danger, and that was Bustle, and that's why he could wait, because he knew that horse was going to kick, and then he just had to run him down, and did, and she was fantastic on Saturday. Home, I think 11:04 the last 200 metres. All goes well for the Northerly in a couple of weeks. Drops to 50 kilos. Has a tough nut like Cascadian to take on, but I think she's ready for the challenge.
Just before you chime in there, Duff, I know you're close with Simon Miller, Dino, and I know there's big fish to fry with the next couple of starts. But, we'd love to see her over here in the east, and surely what she's doing over there in the west, with what's happening on the clock and etc., can justify some trips maybe in an autumn or even a spring. We'd love to see her probably in Sydney or in Melbourne. Do you think that that's going to be her next mission? after this summer?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Peter Walsh, the owner, and Amelia Park, he is very parochial, and he just said, no, I want to support local carnival as a 3-year-old, and that's exactly what they've done. And she's paid them back well winning the Guineas and maybe the Northerly. But she'll be in Melbourne certainly in the autumn for a race like perhaps the Australian Guineas. And, well, if she's popular enough, or if she wins that, maybe the All-Star Mile.
There you go. Duff, sorry to chime in there, mate.
No, you're right. No, I just agree with Dino. This Carberry's got so much confidence in her, the way he steers her and he follows the right horses. He's really ridden her perfectly, pretty well all the way through. But that was a gem on Saturday. That was a gem.
Another one I want to mention as well is this other mare of not Simon but Stephen Miller's, this Snipperucci, which a couple of texts have come in here. And what did you make of it in the Jungle Miss Classic, Dino?
Yeah, well, it was a good win, and she's obviously on her way now through the Triple Crown Series for the fillies and mares, and for the mares, and that's the good starting point, and she's building a nice record as well. And Saturday was, I thought a very good win going forward to the other parts of the series.
Let's talk some jockeys, obviously, we'll touch on Damien Lane, who gets another Group 1 there in Japan yesterday afternoon. Frosty, great to see. But young Zach Lloyd here in New South Wales, Duff, he's obviously got the bloodlines, but he's riding very, very good. He rode that Tamerlane in the last was a nice ride, and of course he won earlier in the day in the Warra.
Yep, he's a young man with a star next to his name. He's just got to stay patient. As far as, he thinks he can't ride them all well. He's young and he's inexperienced, but he's got a good level head on his shoulders by the look of things. And just these apprentices we've got in Sydney at the moment, we were struggling for a year or two, but to think we got, these Gibbons and Schiller, who's riding outstanding, and now this young Zach Lloyd's joined the team there. And it's the first real opportunity Godolphin have given him, really. They've let everyone else just play with his claim there early on. And now it's the first time they said, OK, Zach, the carnival's over. We're going to give you a go this week. And that was exactly what they did there on Saturday. They put him on in the major race. Now, obviously, he could claim in it, the Warra, and he rode exactly to script how the map looked, and it worked out a winner. And then he adjusted when everyone wanted to take a sit in the last, even the on-pace runners. He said, OK, I'll take up the running, and it was a winning move. So he's got a brain on him. He should do, because his old man be a hard taskmaster, and he's got Darren Beedman there. He's got James Cummings. He's got the right as Craig Williams' team. It'll be a bigger team than Craig Williams by the time he gets to gets out of his time.
He's certainly the case, and I'll get you to comment here on Damien Lane, Dean, because obviously you're close with him down there in Melbourne. We know what he's achieved when he has been to Japan before, but again, overnight, well, not overnight, but yesterday afternoon, he gets that Group 1, and it was a lovely ride, and geez, he can perform over there on the big stage, can't he?
He certainly can. He gets good opportunities. He's in the right stables, but when he has to deliver, he certainly does, and that was a big race to win the mile, and you could just see him just coming into the race at the right time, and timing's everything there, because the speed of the race is you could be forgiven for going too soon and sort of getting to the front too soon, but he just brought that horse into the race at the absolute right time.
We see Lemaire and we see other international jockeys stay there. Not all, because obviously it's a difficult place to get momentum in, and obviously with the language, you need to be quite fluent in all these tests to ride there. Because he is building those relationships with those big farms over there, I mean, has he ever thought about staying there more permanently than these stints?
I don't know. It's one of the few jockeys I don't know that well, is Damien Lane, but he advised them well when they brought Murder and Ligue Rocher. The horse like Murder it was basically on his insistence that he came out for the Caulfield Cup. And if you keep watching the replay of that Melbourne Cup that year, he might have won that with just a little bit better luck. So he was the right horse, and they already had League Reserve pegged, so he got to ride her, and then, of course, ride her in her farewell wins. So he's had great success for the right farms, and I think if he wanted to, he could certainly get an extension there.
We don't realise how good our Australian jockeys are at times when you look at how we're dominating around the world. You only have to look at Hong Kong. You had to look at Hong Kong yesterday. We still claim, so we should, Zach Purton as our own. McDonald goes over there on foreign horses and goes bang bang. Bowman, he's over there. He rides a winner. You got Blake Shin, He's proved himself in Hong Kong. Damien Lane and that Jai McNeil's only a matter of time before he gets opportunities. Mark Zara just snuck over to Singapore.
Yes.
And won the Singapore Cup, beat McD. He went second. So.
Yeah, and you had a young bloke like even Daniel Moore going to Singapore and taking control over there. Our jockeys are the leaders in the world.
Why do you think that is, Duff? Is it our style of racing here? Because we do, when you speak to some of the foreign jockeys that do come here, we do ride quite tight and aggressive, and some of our jockeys, you mentioned there with Damien Lane, Dino, about the analysis of the speed in the race. It seems like our blokes, some of them have, and girls, have some really good clocks in their head, and they can understand how a race is unfolding.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think probably, and the track work and trials that they ride are on basically on race courses, whereas maybe the English riders do a lot of galloping out on the Newmarket and things that aren't quite like a race course, whereas our jockeys can adapt to whatever's sort of put in front of them, and probably the next in the modern days to see someone really go and have a good shot at English racing if they wanted to over an Australian winter, but that would be the next thing.
I don't think it'll happen. In the old days it would have, but I think we're catching up because these jockeys were going over chasing money, and I think they they can earn more money in Australia now, even though they've got to pay a bit of tax. We've caught up with the rest of the world and passed most of them.
If you get a track like, say, Kerring got with Godolphin, it might be something that would be taken up for a winter.
That's the sweetener. Yeah.
Just on Hong Kong, obviously you mentioned J-Mac. I was going to get to him. That ride on Romantic Warrior, Duff. I know you keep an eye on the Hong Kong racing. Look, it was 220 favourite, but he just popped out at the right time. He wasn't going to get caught, and just a lovely, lovely ride.
Yeah, you don't see it often in Hong Kong. First up 2,000 metres. So it was a pretty good training performance as well. But oh boy, what about that Golden 60?
Yeah.
That was a race and a half, and I'm shocked that they backed the other horse to beat him. But I suppose it was all tempo related. He did nearly the impossible there after the other good horses just got a picnic in front. But this horse I think he's won 3 times the last 3 years at this meeting. He's a horse and a half.
We've got a caller on the line, Swampy. Good day, Swampy.
Yeah, g'day, mate. How you going? Can I speak to Muns, please?
You can, mate. We've got Glenn on the line.
Certainly, Swamp.
Yeah, g'day, Muns. Listen, I had a couple of multis on Saturday, and with the rain in Melbourne, there was a few scratchings. What happens? Do you get your money back, or...?
No, well, that leg of your multi drops out. So if it was a 3-leg multi and one drops out, it becomes a double. Or a 2-legged multi, one drops out, it becomes a single. If all of the legs are scratched, you'll get a refund.
Oh, right, okay. So
unless it's one of your multis. Unless it's one of your...
unless it was a one we have on the punters panel or the like there, or the Big Sports Breakfast multi.
No, it's not that, no.
Yeah.
Just an ordinary multi. Okay.
No, just an ordinary multi, yeah. It's just instead of having a double, you're having a single, or instead of having a treble, you're having a double. So that leg just drops out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for your call.
Always here to help.
Swampy. We're going to take a quick break. It's 9:46. Give us a call on 135353. That's the open line number, and you can get involved with the conversation. We're not too far away either from the boys' Horses to Follow, which is late in the program.
The Punters Panel.
Yeah, I'd move towards value in a race like this, and that's why I sort of landed towards Cold Crusher on an each-way basis. I think around that $23 mark. He's a few runs into his prep now. He's carried big weights before and won, albeit in a lot less grade. His record over this track and trip tick all the boxes, and at a big price, I think he's just worth having something on.
Cold Crusher won it brilliantly.
The Punters Panel. Friday morning, Racing HQ.
It doesn't have to cost the earth to own a share in a racehorse. Patriot Bloodstock offers an affordable entry-level price point for racehorse ownership with fixed price training fees. We love first-time owners and punters clubs, or get your friends together and start a syndicate. A Brave Smash filly, fully broken, is available now from a Dan that's produced 5 foals to race, all winners. She ticks all the boxes. Check out what's available at patriotbloodstock.com.au. Patriot Bloodstock, an authorised representative of Stable Connect. AF licence 33696.
Hey, how did you get a next-gen Ranger?
Picked it up from my Ford dealer last week. They had plenty of the XL, the XLS, and...
Thanks, mate!
Yeah, okay, bye.
Get into your Ford dealership quick and get into a next-gen Ranger quicker with XL and XLS in stock right now.
I'll take the blue one, please.
T's and C's apply. See Ford.com.au for details.
You're listening to Sky Sports Radio and Punters Post-Mortem.
It is Punters Post-Mortem on this Monday. It is 9:48 and we've got some calls coming in now here on 1353. Kev's on the line. G'day, Kev.
G'day, how you going, Dave?
Good, mate. What's your question?
I want to talk about two things. First of all, King's Consort's run on Saturday for Dean. Does it look like a Sandown Guineas horse if they back it up on next week?
Yeah, he probably is. He's just got to get going early in the race. He's giving away these big starts. I thought Saturday from Barrier 2 he might just land third and have an easy time of it and win, but he's just not getting going early, and that's just going to make it a bit hard around Caulfield next Saturday.
Yeah, it does look like a good race for him, though.
It does, absolutely.
And the other one I just wanted to talk generally about was Kiss Some. What a missed preparation. I thought he was going to run him in that benchmark 88 if he didn't get a start in the gong on Saturday, but he didn't accept in that race and then didn't get a run. Where's he go now?
Yeah, he's nor here nor there at the moment since he missed the run. A couple of runs there, not getting in. It's been a bit of a nightmare for Tracy, so I don't know whether he just comes back a bit and just concentrates on next preparation, or he just tries to maybe sneak into the Ingham, which is going to be tough. Or, yeah, you're right, it's been a forgetful preparation, 100%.
Yeah, because he was talking about putting him in the Lithgow on a couple of weeks ago if he didn't get a run in the other race that he was accepted for, but they didn't accept, and that was Old Flame ended up winning that race. I thought that would have been a good race for him. And then he was talking about accepting in that benchmark 88 on Saturday if he didn't get a run in the gong, but didn't accept. Yeah, he missed a couple of opportunities to at least get some runs into him. He obviously went through the worst part of the track at Flemington that day.
Yeah, no doubt. No, it's been a bit of ordinary for Tracy. I don't know what he does. I'll just have a look, see if he's still in work. Yeah,
I think he is.
Active. Yeah, he's still active.
He hasn't had much luck. I mean, even that horse yesterday in the Tahari Cup, One More Sapphire, run was huge. The horses are ticking over, and I asked him about Kiss Some yesterday, and he just gives a wink and says, mate, this horse is just flying. He just needs a run. So I think, too, with this dry weather around, we're going to see something pretty exciting, too, with Kiss Some. Dennis is on the line. G'day, Dennis.
Hi, boys. How you doing?
Good, mate.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to Ron Duffley.
Yes, Dennis.
Yeah, do you remember going by the name of Ron Duffley by any chance, Ronnie?
What's that, mate?
When you were called Ron Duffley.
Yeah, I remember that. It was the front page of the Telegraph, and I was with Baby Mahal down the beach. It's on the front page of the paper.
Yeah, I'm the gentleman that sent it to you and all that. You know, just having a bit of a chuckle when you was on Thoroughbred Weekly about that one.
Don't worry, it's stuck.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Well, the reason I'm calling you is going back 2-3 years ago, Melbourne Cup Day. Me and my wife was at Kembla, and we had a horse running by the name of Advertising. If you get a chance, look back and see what happened. We were in the steed, he went over the line, and we were cheering and happy as, and we won, we were so happy. By the time we left the stand and went down to the Rosebery area, the result went the other way. And on Saturday, we felt the pain of those owners, no doubt.
Yeah,
it was no different. It was just like any time. My wife was saying, see, it happened to us exactly what happened to them.
Yep, exactly right. No, it happens. It can be deflating at times, and just seeing the vision of those poor owners there on Saturday celebrating. We have a bit of fun with it, but they can IQ that and tape that and have a look at that and have a laugh themselves in a couple of years to come. I think Michael Wood was in that horse as well that got beat in that photo. So, it's distressing.
Let's get to Tony now on the line. G'day, Tony.
G'day, Dave. I want to speak to Glenn, please, mate.
Yes, here we go. Here we go, Glenn. Go.
I had a bet on Saturday, Glenn, on Ballarat Race 9 on the winner and the men's, and the fixed odds, $31 a win, $8 a place. It's $5 each way. The total collect would have been $195. When I presented the ticket, I got $129, which is
What time did you place the bet, mate? Before the 17 late scratchings or after it?
Yeah, well, before the scratchings. Was there a lot of scratchings?
Well, I'll defer to Dean here because I don't follow Melbourne during the day, mate. I've got enough to do. We've got 4 meetings on Sky Thoroughbred Central. But I'll guarantee you there was a hat full of late scratches.
Well, there was 6. I can tell you what they were.
Don't you have the deductions there, Munns? You can go through the deductions for us?
I do have them, Dave. I actually write them all down at the end of the day. Just in case people ring up on Monday morning. But it's quite an easy question to answer, Dave, so I'm not really worried about it.
Amish Boy was a late scratching at Wicklow Town, Curran, Shakiro, Snapper, and Extreme.
Snapper were the 2 favourites. Snapper was scratched, about 2 o'clock, and Curran was scratched quite late. So,
You got let off light, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
wonder you didn't know us.
That's fine. I didn't know about all those scratchings at the time.
Do you know where to find them, Tony? Do you know where to find the deductions? Glenn, tell him where he can find the deductions.
Well, you've got the Tab app. You look down the bottom of the results here and it'll have deductions on the website.
He hasn't got the app, Glenn. He hasn't got the app.
He's got tab.com.au. Has he got the web?
How do you put the bets on, Tony?
Oh, just go to the pub, mate.
And just fill out the ticket?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'll find on the EBT they actually put the deductions up as well.
I thought they must have made... Can I have a hypothetical with Glenn?
Yes, I love this. Have a couple.
Well, if a horse is backed, say, for argument's sake, from $30 into $4, and then there's a late scratching, what price do you use to declare your deduction?
Yeah, come on, Dean.
No, Glenn, you're a man.
It'll be
apply to any state, Glenn, so it doesn't have to be Ballarat.
Oh, right.
It'd be $4.
I thought he was going to talk about the first winner of Ballarat and Saturday, hypothetical. No. If a horse is back from $30 to $4, what I can tell you tab.com.au do, they'll more often divert to basically what price they've averaged it out at.
That's right, you take an average.
Yeah, but so you are quite entitled to take the deduction for $4. But, you know, in the essence of fairness, I would take, roughly the average.
Yeah.
But if it's $30 on Wednesday and on Saturday it opens $5.50 and then runs $4, well, you're probably not going to take the average.
I'm talking about just a hypothetical on the day.
Yeah.
But, well, you've answered that, Glenn. Take an average.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But that's being fairer to the punter, of course.
Yeah, well, that's right.
But that horse hypothetical that did win the first at Ballarat on Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you might be wanting to follow it because it's now had 6 starts and won 4 races for the Anthony and Sam Friedman stable.
Oh, I didn't realise the connection there. Okay, thanks, Glenn.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you very much.
John's on the anytime, Tone.
John's on the line, and I'm loving this. John wants to talk about exotic pools. Good morning, John.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, good morning. Could I speak to Glenn?
You can speak to Glenn.
Certainly.
Okay. Look, I noticed about 3 weeks ago that the takeout for the Big Six was 25%. Now, all the takeouts used to be 20% for all the exotics, and it was 14.5 for win and place. So what my question is, when was that done? And have all the exotic pools, like including the trifecta, Quinellas, everything, are they all subject to this higher 25% takeout?
I don't know. I always thought the takeouts are higher on the exotics like Big Six and Quaddies and things like that. I don't know what the...
They used to be 20%.
Legislated percentage takeout rate is... but they've always been higher than the win and place. And win and place is 18%.
Win and place is 18 now, is it?
It's been 18 for a while.
That used to be 14.5, and the exotic used to be 20.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when that was, but, I can tell you the winning place is 18.
Okay.
John.
If you sat down and worked the markets out, there are 118% markets.
Yeah. Okay. It makes a huge difference to see there used to be value in the quaddie with only 20% out, and that's why you got a lot more than the all-up value of the win bets on each leg multiplied together. But with the extra 5% takeout, that there's not, most people can get 3 winners of the quaddie, but they struggle to get the 4th, which I'm the same, But
there's always value in the quaddie when Dean and Mark don't find one of the winners.
Thank you very much, John. Any more questions in relation to exotic pools, multis? Please give us a call. We've got a couple of minutes
Dave,
here.
we might be having a new segment because you're looking for stuff to fill your show between 9 and 1. Instead of having the Big Sports Breakfast replays, we might have the, like ring in and terrorise Mun's hour.
I think it'd be good. Well, I'd like to have you on, Glenn, though, not just to talk about the betting. I'd like, life advice. If someone's, going through something in their life, they can ring and ask you. I think you're
at the end, we could be like Richard Mercer and have some love song requests.
It's a you're a world of wisdom. Boys, there was a text here on the text line. Just we were wrapping, obviously, Damien Lane, etc. Michael Costa's flying over there as well in was it Abu Dhabi? Or I know it's the UAE, where he's based, but also Jean Van Overmeer at Jebel Ali on, I think it was Friday night. And it was either Friday night or Saturday night, and obviously that's his 4th winner for the season, Michael Costa. He's over there with his family, so that's great to see him getting some success, and yes, we focus on that as well. Another text here on the text line as well is in relation to the second race at Ballarat on the weekend, and it was the Eureka Stockade. This Quinella from the Wild stable, but this winner, can you have a comment on it, Dino, please?
Well, he's quite a progressive horse, Shuriken. He won on the Bill Caston and he ran well at Flemington on the final day, and he won on Saturday. And Simon Wild's got a good record in the Sandown Guineas, so I wouldn't be surprised if this horse backed up. I think he's won it about 2 of the last 9 years, I would think. And Shuriken it'd be busy schedule for the horse first prep, but he won quite well on Saturday. Street Delight, and we spoke of that race with King's Consort earlier, but Shuriken is a progressive enough horse, and I wouldn't be surprised if he backed up on Saturday.
Okay, all right. So we keep an eye on him Saturday. That Sandown meeting, it's on. Is it on Saturday? That Sandown meeting, or are we back at Caulfield? No,
it's at Caulfield. Yeah, so the last meeting at Caulfield we'll have for probably 6 or 7 months. With the renovation of the track, the development of the inside track, and the new mounting yard and facilities for the horses. So there's a going on. Is
Sandown out of play, Dino? Sorry to cut you off.
Sandown?
Yeah, so why aren't they racing the Sandown Guineas at Sandown?
Because we're going to have an absolute stack of meetings at Sandown.
Right,
Sandown
okay.
now takes up its meetings and Caulfields as well over the next 7 months. So, your Blue Diamond Day, Oakley Plate, All Stakes, Maturity, all those, they'll be at Sandown this weekend.
Because it's a fantastic. I mean, some people might disagree, but I must admit I do like betting at Sandown. It seems like I can back winners there, but other places I can't. It's just one of those tracks for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was a bit surprised this meeting wasn't at Sandown, but they're wanting to use Caulfield one last time before, and they've really promoted it down here in today's Herald Sun. Like it's farewell to Caulfield for the next 6 to 7 months, and there's a big word about it. And I thought they might have wanted to get their works a month underway so they could get back earlier. But anyway.
And on Saturday, of course, in Sydney, boys, we go to Rose Hill Festival Stakes, Starlight Stakes. We've got the ATC Cup, the Country Classic. So we've got a number of nice races on the card there, Duff.
Yeah, we certainly have. I'm off to Perth for the next couple of weeks to see some good racing.
Oh, beautiful.
The Winterbottom and the week after.
Is that for Sky Thoroughbred Central?
Yep.
Perfect. So yourself and Greg?
Yes.
Fantastic, mate. So that'll be... And that coverage will be intertwined, won't it, with the Sydney racing, won't it?
Yes, it will be, yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, it's going to be
as was last Saturday.
Yes.
So it's 4 meetings this Saturday on Sky Thoroughbred Central. And that Festival Stakes, that could be a race that Kiss Summer's nominated for. We'll find out this morning.
That might be more like it.
Well, we've got Lincoln on the line who wants to talk about Kiss Summer. Morning, Lincoln.
How mate going?
Very good, mate.
Yeah, I heard that caller cop about Kiss Some earlier. Might have a bit of info on it.
What's your info, mate?
So I've got a horse, Sabrenko, with Tracy, and we're at Newcastle with him last week, and he said that he'll probably go to the Festival Stakes this Saturday, mate.
There you go. 1,500 Group 3. And I know that he's quite excited, Trace, to have this horse on these sort of tracks that are a little bit firmer than what he's had in the past. He's been working the house down at home, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't know, Glenn, will we have a all-in market for that on the...
Did the sun come up this morning, Dave?
Yes, so that'll be
Group
out.
3 race, Dave. That market will be available around about midday today. There'll be a market on the Starlight Stakes as well. There'll be a market on the ATC Cup. So there'll be 3 races up on Saturday's meeting at Rosehill Gardens.
And then you'd think the Sandown races, not the Sandown, but the Sandown Guineas, etc., would also go up as well, possibly, in the next...
just looking at their classifications... the
Sandown Guineas is Group 2, and the Zipping Classics
Group 2, so that'll be right.
Yep. We've got the Heffernan, the Eclipse.
Well,
or will they not do? Will they just do the Group 2s?
No. Well, no. They sometimes Group 3s they don't do in Melbourne. Just depends. And we're a bit light on for staff at the moment. There's quite a few blokes having holidays. It's a slower time of the year, so they might be light on for staff because there's quite a few Group 3 races. The Summoned is a Group 3. The Zipping Classics a Group 2. The Eclipse is a Group 3. The Heffernan's a Group 3. There's a number of listed races. The Sandown Guineas is a Group 2, and basically every other race is listed, isn't it, Dean?
It is, yeah. I think so, Mercy Cooper. Yeah, I think all through today it's pretty much all stakes racing.
Yeah, full black type meeting at Caulfield on Saturday.
Well, that should be interesting.
Boys, we need to get to your horses to follow. What are we following from the meeting at Kembla, Duff?
Yeah, look, there's a lot to follow, really. Usually we're struggling to find horses to follow, but now we're back to a few benchmark races and at this time of year where things will lighten off. So we're looking at horses early in their prep. So Atmospheric Rock, he's well up to highway class, and if not, you can go back to the country or provincials and maybe win. I like Pretty Wild. A little query going in with her on Saturday with one soft trial and first time on a dry, but I thought she ticked it off pretty well. So she's in for a good little prep charge, typical Chris Waller, charging through the classes at this time of year. And I like Rainbow Connection. He didn't come up last preparation, and I think he's back in form. He's just a little aggressive there again on Saturday, but around that benchmark 78 and a little bit better than that, he's going to be very, very competitive. So Atmospheric Rock, Pretty Wild, and Rainbow Connection.
All right, fantastic. We go now to the Dean Lester. Dean, what do you like?
Hospital Technique, I think, had he been in probably later in the day to be scratched to Ballarat on Saturday, he was right when the rain hit and the track started to downgrade, and he wasn't suited, but he ran well first up. Not to be missed, he only wins one race a year, but he's getting close. He ran very well at Ballarat on Saturday, and Green 5 at last winner was absolutely outstanding. He's a good horse. We spoke of that Nugget Minimac timeline going right through that field, but he's a very good horse, Green 5. He's got room to improve even more.
All right, and what about yourself, Muns?
Well, that caller stole my thunder a little bit, Dave. I'm going to follow Key Largo. I think Bryce Hayes is just finding the right races for him. Short course races, good speed. He gets back and he finishes on. So I'll be tracking him. Mandaboss out of the last. Now I know Brad Gray was all over this in a highway the other day. Well, he's just screaming now if he comes back to a highway after a run in a benchmark 78 on Saturday, and for the Joseph Jones and Jones team there. And a horse that stepped up, he'd won a maiden, and then he was placed in a Class 1 the other day, Mr. Rocket, for Robert and Luke Price. So he's still only eligible for a Class 1, and he was good in the midway there. So look for him in those easier quality races out of Kembla, because I think they're the secrets to trying to find the ones that are still aiming at the lower sort of tier races.
Duff, because you're going to Perth, I presume you're not going to be on the program next week because you'll be in the cot, no doubt.
Well, walking there, Dave. Yeah, they have planes that get there.
And so, does this mean this might be one of your final punters postmortems for the year?
No. I'm coming home Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So I might be right for the next
Couple of weeks.
3. I'll do after the Ingham. I'm off. Put it that way.
All right, perfect. All right, well,
Dave, I will be a scratching next Monday. I'll
Yes.
get in early.
Where are you going, Muns?
I'm going to the Lakes Golf Club, Dave, for the Godolphin Golf Day.
Fantastic. By the way, were you at a Chinese restaurant on the weekend in Bondi, Glenn? There's a couple of texts on the text line saying, saw Glenn Munsey at the Bondi Chinese restaurant, looking very happy.
Have you
got a stunt double?
Dave?
Have you got a stunt double?
Yeah. It may have been I was in my Brad Pitt type gear.
Okay.
So that
When was the last time you had Chinese in Bondi, Glenn?
Probably the 80s.
The 80s? Okay, well, there you go. You've got
not an eastern suburbs.
Got a stunt double.
Woolloomooloo sort of pulls me up, Dave. Woolloomooloo or Coogee.
Okay.
Definitely not Bondi.
Bondi Road, they're saying here. What about this? Great to meet Glenn at the Chinese at Bondi. So someone out there is impersonating Glenn Munsey.
Oh, ring the coppers.
Oh, can you only imagine?
Keep that music rolling.
Oh, they got me for 150 too. They snipped me for 150. Can you send that back to the station?
That's outstanding. Dean Lester, you won't be going anywhere, surely, mate, because we've got some really good racing in Melbourne, and we need you to keep the ship afloat, mate.
We'll be here.
Sensational. Thanks for being a part of the program today. Some good fun, some great racing on the weekend. It's been a long carnival here in Sydney, and we still continue over the summer. Thanks to all the callers as well. We'll take a break. Punters Post-Mortem back next Monday and from 9 o'clock.